Hello and welcome to the One Parent Family Scotland podcast. My name is Philippa and today I'm joined by Martha Mattos Coelho. Martha, would you like to start by saying a little bit about yourself, your experience of being a single parent?
Oh, thank you, Philippa. Yes, so I think I can say I'm quite a recent single mother. I've been a single mother ever since shortly before lockdown. Long story short, I moved to Scotland from Portugal roughly 8 years ago, a bit over 8 years ago. And I came with my then husband and a child. We moved, took some time to settle in like everyone else, but a year later I fell pregnant from my second child. And as in all marriages, things go sometimes don't go the way we were initially planning. A lot has changed when we moved to Scotland. In my case in particular, I come from a very traditional country, very where women, I think things are changing now, but I haven't been there for a while. But we women, especially people like me that are quite passionate about social reasons and the community and everything they can do to help the world be a better place, are not really the most welcome. We are called outspoken and use all those labels. So I literally felt that I wasn't in my environment, and moving to Scotland gave me that openness, and I was able to become myself. So that also changed my, not change, I think released my personality, and that's probably why things with my ex-husband started going different. We started going different ways. We had a conversation, and roughly 3 weeks before the first lockdown, my ex-husband left. So I became a single mother at the same time as lockdown hit us. So as you can imagine, it was not an easy experience. But I took the opportunity. I thought, well, you have two choices. Either is you give up, or you use that strength to become a better version of yourself. I'm not saying it was easy, but it did open the world to me completely different. So literally for the first few months of the lockdown, 6 to 8 months, I was kind of trying, first of all, like everyone else, what's going on around us. Second of all, is how am I going to be on my own with two kids, plus work, plus homeschool my oldest. My youngest was 3 by then. So I became a single mother in a very challenging time. I literally lived for my kids at that point. So it was a lot about how am I going to survive? On the other hand, oh, I don't need to go to the office. I can eat at home. So it was kind of, let's look at the bright side of things. My employer was very understanding. Got to a point where I literally asked, can I be made redundant because I can't cope? Obviously, this is not really the legal way to do things, but they did understand what was going on. I was working with some clients that pull off all the work because they panicked as well. So they kind of said, yes, we have a justification to make you to make you redundant, which meant that I was living on 80% of my income, but also had more time for my kids. The schools tried to support as much as they could, but they also were struggling. So I became a single mother about, let's say, 4 years ago now, almost to the day. I'm looking at almost to the day. I think the first lockdown was about the 20th of March. So it's been, and since then it's an experience. I've been embracing the experience, if you want to, and learning from it. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I suppose, it must have been particularly challenging becoming a single parent during lockdown because the normal kind of support networks that you might have at your disposal wouldn't be available.
I think there was a lot of support then. What happened was took a while for people to understand what they could do. I think everyone was. I was, and I am extremely lucky in the sense that I have made friends everywhere I've been. And when my youngest, his name is Scott, he was born in Scotland, so it makes sense
Oh,
because
nice.
when my youngest was a baby and I was on maternity leave, I joined quite a few groups. And one of the groups I joined is called the Edinburgh Buggy Walks. And I met some of my closest friends by then. And these were the people that supported me from when we were in lockdown. We all lived close together. And so, and at that, the first instance was my closest friends, was the people I had with me. And then as you know, and society open to everyone. Everyone was helping everyone. I think lockdown has had some bad things. Obviously, the impact of mental health, you know this better than me, but it also brought the good in people. And all of a sudden, we were all helping each other. And there was a lot of support that came from it. And One Parent Farm has made me also meet quite a few very interesting mothers. Some of them became my friends. And from them, I met other people as well. So it is.
And what would you say would be the best part about being a single parent for you personally?
I'm going to be very honest. Maybe I'm not going to say what everyone says. Having my life, my time back. I feel that I love my kids, and I'm very like in the sense that I have a shared custody, so I have 50-50. And what was happening while I was still married was my ex works shifts and he works in a hotel. So many times the shifts changed, things changed, and I never had time for myself. Even if when I asked him, kind of, could you take this day off? Because I love the mountains, I love paddleboard and everything outdoors. I'm there. And obviously, this is something you need to take the day off to go and do. And many times, last minute, there was changes and I couldn't go. Right now, because we have a really strong structure that he cannot play around anymore. Whereas when we were married, he would just play around with it because obviously being a couple, you work things together. I didn't think I had a choice. Now I have a choice. So I was working Monday to Friday. My ex was working whatever hours the hotel needed. So having my time back, having that structure is allowing me to be happier because I have time to do the things that make me happy, and also will give more to my kids because I'm happier. Organizing, I think having the time and having a structure now in place, it's been probably the best thing for me.
And do you think it's changed your sense of identity being a single parent?
Oh yes, completely changed. Think society still thinks a lot about two parents families, about society thinks that the family has two parents, it's a man and a woman and x amount of children. So society still doesn't think about parents in a non between commas traditional way, because what is a traditional family? Traditional family is someone that cares for their children. Doesn't matter how many people they are involved and what genders they are or what they identify themselves with. So becoming a single parent opened my eyes to many things. For instance, one of the things I found absolutely incredible is finding out that because I'm a single parent, I have 25% discount in quite a few range of things, but there's only one income coming. Why don't I have 50% discount? So first, that was one. The other thing was to do with, and in my case, that I'm a single mom and I'm also an immigrant, so there's no family around to help. There is still, society still believes that yes, there will be a mother there to take care if the father has a meeting until later, or the other way around. Oh, that's fine, the grandparents can jump in and help out. No, that's not the case. There's no grandparents around. And if even if there were grandparents around, why do I need to choose my work to my life? My family is my first, obviously, job, between commas. It's not the best word to describe it, but it's my first commitment is to my family. So yes, it is a way of living. It is a way of living. Although, as I said before, I do have time, my time very structured now. And I found out, yes, I'm also an adult. I'm not just a mom. And the way I'm doing things again. So I'm enjoying the best of two worlds at the moment. And I'm very outspoken about this. And I keep telling people to do the same. You're a single mother. Yes, but you're also a human being. But yes, there are challenges. And that's probably why we are talking today as
Yeah, and
well.
do you think there's still a stigma about being a single parent? You mentioned before that the norm is to have two parents, and society doesn't seem to have caught up with the fact that there actually are 1 in 4 families are single parent families.
There
Do you
is
think?
a bit of stigma still. I think there is and there will be. It has to. This has to do with education. It has to do with the way how we. There will always be stigma. There will always be misunderstandings. What I hoped people do was people would talk more. I see a lot of people assuming that, oh, you're a single parent because, I don't know, you had a one-night stand with someone and you fell pregnant. Oh, sometimes that's not the story. Well, I was with my ex for 20 years, so that's not clearly my story. But I know I have one of my closest friends, and this is someone that I'm really proud of, and she's a really strong woman. She decided to become a single mother on her own. There's no father around. It was her choice. And I have a close colleague of mine that came to us on the other day, really proud. She said, I've been accepted to be a foster mother. And she's a single on her own. She wants to be a single mother. My friend wants to be single. Why not? Why is that a problem? It isn't a problem, quite the opposite. These people should be empowered and cherished and acknowledged as so strong that and in the end of the day, the amount of sacrifice they are putting forward to bring children to the world on their own, it's absolutely amazing. So there is stigma. I think there is a lot of education that still needs to be taught. There's a lot that people need to learn, and people need to not be afraid to ask questions. Talk about it. Talk with people. Don't assume things. And I think one parent family Scotland must know this way better than me. How many parents
Absolutely.
will go to you saying, "Oh, I can't do this," and oh, you can. Again,
Mhm.
so the assumption goes from both ends. But again, we're talking about stigma, talking about misconceptions and discrimination. There is a lot of assumptions and and from society overall, and from people from, and this is cultural as well. In Scotland, we are so diverse. We have people from cultures where if you become a single parent, you can actually be removed. You know what I mean? So, and here we are very welcoming. We have people from all over the world. This is a fabulous culture, and one of the reasons I fell in love with Scotland had to do with that as well.
Martha, you're an elected official, so you're a councillor for City of Edinburgh Council. I'm just wondering, what was it that motivated you to move into politics in the first place? And was being a single parent one of the reasons that you wanted to move into politics?
So I have to answer this question in two parts. The first part is I joined politics after Brexit, and I was still married by then, so I didn't join politics because I was a single parent. By then, what happened was I felt that Scotland hadn't been heard and that something else had to be done. And then that prompted my start in politics. I joined the party. I became quite active in the party, and few years on, here I am, an elected member representing a party in the City of Edinburgh Council. When I was invited by my party to stand for election, there was a few reasons. There were three main reasons, and one of the reasons was being a single parent. So by then, I was a single parent. So I didn't join politics because I was a single parent, but I put my name forward to election because I was a single parent. So two of the three reasons were one being a single mother, the other one being a foreign national living in Scotland. The third reason is very politically charged, so I will spare you the details. But yes, it was the reason I stood for election, and it's still the reason why in the chambers so many times I have to remind people about single parents. I'll give you a few examples. So we are talking about on the Single Parents Day that's going to be celebrated in the chambers for the first time ever because of a motion I brought forward. The time for reflection today is going to our speaker is the Edinburgh regional representative of One Parry Family Scott, and I hope I said the name properly. There will be an invite. We're going to invite at lunchtime. We're going to have some single parents having lunch with us and talking with elected members about their experiences. This all was prompted because of me, and I'm quite proud of it. And it's the fact that each time there is, I'll give you a few examples of how I am trying to make small steps but to make people aware that we exist and we have an impact. For instance, committees. Many times committees, they want the committees are supposed to start around 9:30, 10, but sometimes we have to have meetings before that. And we had a meeting at 9, a briefing at 9, and I had to say, hold on a second. single parents, especially parents overall, but single parents especially, that don't have anyone else to support them, need to drop the kids at school and then be wherever, even if they are working from home, to be available to be in a meeting. If the meeting, if we drop the kids at 10 to 9, which is my son's case, and I think most schools are not very far from there, even if I run, I can't do it at home at 9. So please don't start anything before 9:30. Also, try to make all the meetings as much as possible in the morning during school hours. Sometimes it's not possible, but most of the times it is. And I sit in two very busy committees, and I love them both. I can't complain about them. And one of them is planning, the other one is regulatory. So they both will touch on things that will be linked to families, not just education. And I had to ask several times. Sorry, not to ask several times. The last time we had a regulator, we had a very important decision to make about the future of sexual entertainment venues in the capital. And I wanted to be there, but the meeting started at 12:30, and I had to pick up my son at 3 or 3:15.
Mm-hmm.
I chose to pay after school club to stay in that meeting. I will not be reimbursed for that money. But if I had taken a taxi, I would be reimbursed for the money. So this is things, and I have made the Scottish government aware of this many times. There was a survey that came to all the elected members about this, about what would you change. It's not just the payment. We do get, our payments aren't great. I do get universal credit. And I am very verbal about this because I put myself forward for election to make things right, and I still need to claim universal credit. It seems incredible. Yes, parliamentarians from both parliaments, they have good salaries. Let's not talk about it. But we make the things on the ground. We are on the schools. We are, you know what I mean? So I am all the time making people aware, and so it's meeting times. It's about, for instance, on the other day, I had to attend a meeting from home because otherwise I would have to leave really early and I wouldn't be able to stay in the meeting for as long as possible. And that's the thing I was talking about lockdown earlier. Lockdown has had bad impact and good impact. And the good thing that has happened is we are able to participate in hybrid meetings. The other challenges I have, for instance, community council meetings, any meetings that happen in the evening, are a challenge if you have kids. And some of the local groups don't want to make them online. They want to make them in person because it's easier for them. Well, I understand that, but if we make them in person, I can't attend. I showed everyone what will happen if you take a kid to a meeting. So I literally took my 7-year-old with me to a community council meeting. It was mayhem. And the people were aware that, yes, I made an effort to be there. I'm very involved with my community as much as I can, but there's a limit. So got to a point where my son was literally, Mom, can I have your phone, interrupting me all the time or running about or doing whatever? And I said, I need to leave. So this community council in particular, they are quite good. They make, most of their meetings are hybrids. They make, I think it's once a month or every 2 months, they make it in person for the people that are not IT savvy. But there are the groups that only make committees or events in person. So there is still a lot going on, but lockdown brought us the alternative. There are options. So this is what I'm doing sometimes every day. Sometimes it's every day.
So I suppose that's the importance of having people in elected positions with lived experience.
Exactly. In so many ways, lived experience, disabled people. It's fundamental. Do you have people that are carers? We are carers as well. People that we had elected members were invited to a training with Vocal last week about what are carers, what are the role of carers. Carers are not just people taking care or paid by to take care of older people or disabled people, or we are carers, especially as single parents. We are carers, right? So all these people with all this experience should be in elected roles at some point, and to influence decision and be decision makers. It's so important. So I don't live my house in the morning to come to the city chamber and say, right, I need to remind everyone that I'm a single parent, and this happens naturally because of my lived experience. I've only been a single parent for the past 4 years. So imagine, I have a colleague of mine that I actually, she seconded my motion about Single Parents Day. She's been a single parent most of her adult life. So obviously her experience is way broader than mine, and she also brings that on board. It's fundamental. It's so important. So
And what do
important.
your children think about you being an elected official? Are they excited about it, or do they?
That's quite hilarious. So for them, it's just a job. And it's, how do we explain to a child what it is to be an elected member? To be fair, how do you explain to some people in society that I don't have a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday work job? We are in that very gray area that we are not employed by, but we are not also managers of. It's very, very complicated. So my youngest son, that's a nice, funny story to tell you. Last week, I had a meeting at his school with the police, the head teacher, the active travel team, and the team that is in charge of the lollipop people, because there has been quite a few issues in the area. So we met, and I came out during lunch break, and I remember looking at the head teacher and I say, I just hope Scott doesn't see me. And then she laughed, and I just left because I had to leave earlier because I had another meeting. It does happen, which is meetings back to back all the time. Um, and but I have a big yellow jacket, so there's no way I can't be passing a group of kids jumping around without being seen. So I left the building, and I thought he hadn't seen me. So when I came to pick him up, he came to say, "Mom, yeah, can you come to school one day and tell my friends what you do?" I said, "What you mean?" So I spoke with the teacher, and she said, "Yeah, he saw you coming out of the meeting, and now he wants." What my son thinks is I work for the council and I sometimes work with his head teacher. Well, it's not really that. My oldest son is a teenager. Is there any need to say anything else?
No.
Teenagers. I am trying to make them aware. I do take them, especially my youngest more than my oldest, to Little Pigs, to local events, community events a lot. I want them to participate, and what I try is not to put them on the spotlight. So yes, I do. In my ward, there's quite a few things going on, and I take the kids to those events, and they play with other kids, especially my youngest. My oldest, being a teenager, is on his phone most of the time. And I do my networking, and I help people by then, because I always have the council phone with me. For my oldest is just a job. For my youngest, yes, he's now excited because he saw me meeting with his head teacher. That's it.
For any single parents listening to this podcast who think that they might want to get involved in politics or become, like yourself, an elected official in a council, what would be your advice to them?
First, I'd like to say that we need them. We need as much diversity as we can. So it's I'm not just talk. Let's get a bit broader. It's not just single parents. We need parents. We need carers. We need disabled people. We need Black, Asian, yellow, blue, green, people from all countries and none, and from all genders and none. Single parents in particular will bring, like I am trying, a completely new perspective. So I am very happy to help anyone that wants to. Depends on where you are. For instance, if you are in a region where most counselors, for instance, I can only talk about for counselors, are independent, you may need to start your journey trying to maybe talk with local counselors, trying to find out how they got there, how they put themselves forward. The other thing I always advise, if you are in a place like me, so in Edinburgh, it is very politically charged. So I did join a party, and it was through the party that I became a candidate and later on an elected member. The other thing is participating with your community, be present in your community, do things in your community, get involved with all the groups. If there are parent groups, for instance, I spoke about how I met some of my closest friends through buggy walks. I am now a trustee of Buggy Walks as well, so I'm giving back what they gave me. I am when I got divorced, one of the organizations that also helped me a lot going through the divorce process and the settled status, it was Citizens Advice Bureau. Now I am a trustee of Citizens Advice Bureau. So get involved with the organizations that have helped you or helped them as well. One of the things I actually didn't mention when I was in lockdown that literally saved my mental health was a group called Edinburgh Mask Makers. I was a volunteer, was making face masks. We made about over 10,000 to give away for people, for key workers to commute and families that needed to go somewhere. So they weren't clinical, and we had the disclaimer, we spoke with NHS, everything was well, but brought me so many leadership skills and brought me a focus. So getting involved with these organizations, with any organizations in your area, found your passion. What's your passion? I know what my passions are, and that's how why I joined politics and why I am where I am. Your passions will take you there. So if you are a single parent and you're passionate about making people aware of what you go through in order to thrive and how you help your kids, go and get involved in the politics. Local community politics. I'm not just the political parties. Okay, I hope this makes sense. But get involved with your community as much as you can and talk with local elected members. Ask them what their journey was. It's I think it's follow their steps if you want to. If you're like me and there's a part you're a member of or you identify yourself with, go and talk to them. They are usually quite welcome. We're not scary.
One of the things which comes up time and time again with single parents that we support is the problem that there's not enough flexible, affordable childcare, and that particularly so for single parents who are the sole carers and earners for their own families. What do you think is the solution to this?
I agree. I know I'm completely on board on this. I completely agree what you were saying. Actually, when I first joined, when I was firstly elected, I asked my group leader to put me in education because I thought I could, on the education committee, I thought I could make some kind of changes. It isn't easy. And I remember when and I wasn't a single parent by then, and I struggled when my son was in nursery. So as having a child it's not just nursery primary school obviously, but younger years in the education, it is a struggle for families with two parents and with grandparents around. If for them it's a struggle, for single parents and special single parents like me, and there are many, and One Parent Family Scotland has introduced me to quite a few of them that were born elsewhere. So it is hard. There are some things being done already that are that should be that have helped, like the 1140 hours of nursery provision, like the Scottish Child Payment. Now the early years support extended to 2 year olds. It's still going on, but it's going to happen. The free school meals. There is a lot still to be done. I'm not going to even challenge you on that. You know this. What can be done? I'd love to know. I'd love it. Each time I have an idea and I know about it, I do bring motions to council about it. So it's not the first time. It won't be the last time. And this is an open invite to everyone that wants to. If you have ideas, and I know One Parent Family Scotland, we have spoken about a few times about ideas, and I have shared your ideas within the committees and the right people in the council to see if we can make those happen. It has all to do with money. We know budget is a problem. The Scottish government has done a lot of good things, but there is a lot still to be done.
And Martha, you talked a little bit about the fact that you brought forward a motion in support of celebrating Single Parents' Day. And we're putting this podcast out on Single Parents' Day itself. So what's planned for Single Parents' Day, again, at the City of Edinburgh Council?
When I brought the motion forward to my group thought it was fabulous. They were very supportive. When I brought the motion forward in the chamber, I had unanimous support. All the groups supported. So all 63 councillors from 5 different political parties and 1 independent. They all supported it, so it was unanimous. So that was fabulous. So we are
Okay.
going to be celebrating Single Parents Day in the city chambers with quite a few things. We're going to start the day with we have a big meeting today, which is the full council, when literally the 63 councillors meet with the officers, where it's when politics happens, let's be honest, and scrutiny and new ideas are being brought forward. So we, including in the events of the day, we're going to have Jennifer Hamilton, One Parent Family Scotland Regional Coordinator, talking about the time of reflection. So it's her time to pitch, if you want, about the needs of single parents. Obviously, I'll be there to support them. At lunchtime, single parents of I have suggested that staff that are council staff that are single parents are join us at lunchtime to talk with councillors about their biggest challenges. So making a thing a bit more personal, because it's as you know, listening to podcasts, reading papers is one thing. The conversation is different. Being able to literally talk with someone and ask them, and it's so they will be with us. At the end of the full council, I have brought a motion forward to celebrate the 80th anniversary of One Parent Family Scotland.
Yeah, so we're reaching 80 years this year, actually. It's 1944 that we were established. And interesting, slightly amusing story is that our original name was the Scottish Council for Unmarried Mothers, which unfortunately spells out the word scum.
I found it hilarious when yeah, unfortunately it's not that. OPFS is and we know that 92% of single parents are women, but there are men that are single parents, and I am friends with some of them, and they do an amazing job. So so it will be very much a marked a Single Parents Day event in the chambers, and I'm very happy that we will have Jennifer with us and some single parents with us, and hopefully the first of many years celebrating single parents in Edinburgh. And maybe we can do something bigger next year. I don't know. This year it's a start.
Thank you on behalf of One Parent Family Scotland for putting forward that motion. I think, as I say, this is the importance of having lived experience within the council, that it's front and centre of your mind because you're living it every day.
And it will raise awareness towards other people as well. As we've spoken before, it is a lot about educating people not making assumptions, people asking questions, and people not being afraid to asking questions. So if nothing else, this will raise awareness. So
and the theme that we've chosen for Single Parents Day this year is recognition.
Yeah.
So the theme being that we recognise the contribution that unpaid carers, single parents, make every day, by being present for their families and doing everything they can to provide for their families. What does the theme recognition say to you?
Exactly what you said. So I don't remember exactly the numbers, but I've read this time and time again. If unpaid carers, most of the time in two parents couples are the woman, but in single parent obviously is the only parent. If we were paid for the job we do, there wouldn't be enough money to pay, because we do so much, and I think it's fantastic, a fantastic theme to in times like this, that we are cost of living crisis. We are living through lots of challenges at the moment, and more than anyone else, single parents are going through that. And in the end of the day, we still have, or most of us, I hope, a smile in our faces, and we cherish the things we love the most, which is our kids. So recognition is the way. It's a fantastic thing for this year, and I think One Parent Family Scotland and I think there are more organizations involved in this.
That's right. Parenting, Northern Ireland, Gingerbread, Fife Gingerbread, One Family Ireland as well are all kind of partnering with us to kind of push this Single Parents Day celebration forward on a wider level than just Scotland.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. Although this did started on the United States in
That's
the
right.
80s, I believe. It is time that we make it ours, especially a country as diverse as Scotland. We have people from all over the world. I have brought ideas here from my original country, and I can't do the other way around because I'm not involved in politics in Portugal, and I don't want to be. But I have, for instance, I don't want to diverge from what we're talking, but tourist tax, it's something that we're studying here, has been done in Portugal for some time. So, and this is, so by bringing this forward to all the multicultural we have in our society in Scotland, this may be passing to other countries. So well done. That's the way to do it.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Martha? Is there a message that you'd like to put out to single parents listening to this podcast today?
To all single parents, and I'm going to focus on women, if you don't mind, for a very simple reason. March is also International Women's Day. It's also Mother's Day. So March is our month. And we are stronger than we think. And I know that when I became a single mother, I panicked in the beginning. Why? Challenge is always hard. Someone has said, I forgot who it was. I should know my mem's authors better, but I forgot that change is hard in the beginning, messy in the middle, and beautiful in the end. And it is. And by becoming a single parent, I found out, as I said before, I have a life. I have a structured life. I'm a single parent. I love my children, but I'm also an adult. So please, especially for women, especially for mothers, don't forget that. Don't forget to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to put yourselves first when your kids are, if you're lucky enough to have some respite from your kids. You can do the laundry later. You can do the washing later. Don't worry about it. Go and pamper yourself, especially March more than ever, but every day take some time for you. I know too many single mothers that are absolutely exhausted because when they're not taking care of their kids, they are washing the clothes. If they're not washing, they are cleaning. If they're not cleaning, they are taking care of their elderly parents. If they're not taking care of their elderly parents, we do more than, we only have one life and one body, so try to take it as long as possible. So my message mostly for women is you're stronger, yes, but put yourself first when you can. You'll be happier, you will be happier and your kids will be happy because of it as well.
Thank you, Martha, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us today about Single Parents Day. And thanks again for bringing forward the motion at City of Edinburgh Council. And I hope it all goes well in the day and that keep on doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And my door is open. My email inbox is open if you have ideas, and let's keep working together and try to, one step at a time, I think we'll get there. Okay. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Thank you.